Told my sister I don't care that our mom is missing, trying to hurt herself. Please bear with me. I'm new to this and don't know what I'm doing. I, 30F, have not talked to my mom in over a year. I have 3 sisters, 1 older, 2 younger, and 2 brothers, both older. Mom and Dad divorced when I was 4. Mom had 2 younger ones with another man, who she eventually divorced also. When I was 11, she flew to Florida for a month for work, where she met her husband, still married now. He moved back with her and worked at same company. Well, she married him in about a year and we moved in with him. That's when he started touching me every chance he got. Would wear a robe with nothing on underneath and be full spread when I walked in room. I saw that man naked more times than I ever wanted. He would come into bathroom when I was about to shower and turn it on and just wait while I'm in towel. Come into my room without knocking with just his robe on and start randomly hugging me. Same if I did laundry late at night. Would find excuses to grab something off my lap and brush high up on my thighs. Always brush against my ass when he walked by, even if there was shit ton of space. All that fun stuff. One day I went with my little sisters to their dad's house where I told him what happens at home to me. He got a hold of my dad and mom and we all sat down to talk. She apologized and said how sorry she was, then went home to have a talk with him. This was around Christmas time, so turned into a huge thing. My grandma came to our Christmas saying we were super ungrateful kids and making up lies, because we don't like mom's new husband. So was told all the time I was begging for attention. It stayed like that if I was single or without a boyfriend at their house. All the way till I was 25, and met amazing man I'm with right now. Fast forward to when I was 28. My sibling, my mom and I have Snapchat. We always say good morning and good night to everyone every day. One day I get a picture from my mom of him naked in background saying how he's making coffee naked lol. Enter fucking trauma spin for months. I asked her to not contact me until I'm ready to talk to her. Then once again I'm getting messages from family calling screaming that life is short. You only get one mother, she's her blood. So now I'm no contact with my mom's whole side of the family. I decided that the peace I found with my boyfriend is way more important than the trauma and drama I always got growing up. So for over a year I haven't contacted anyone except my sibling. I had to block or delete my mom on everything so I can finally heal from shit show of teen years. Still got calls that I just ignored, and FB messages I just put on silent. My youngest sister just had baby shower, so that was awesomely uncomfortable having my aunt and grandma come up to me saying how much they missed me when I didn't miss them at all. So skip to today. My little sister texts me saying, Mom's missing and is apparently drinking, telling grandma and everyone goodbye and quit her job. I asked her what she wanted me to do. She said, reach out, see if she'll answer you. I told her I loved her but don't care what she does. I do not have a mother and haven't in a long time. She's making her decisions like I made mine. That's not my responsibility and on her to deal with. I'm not happy she's trying to hurt herself, but I won't be reaching out. After I sent the last one, she said they found her right where they thought she was. So no idea why I even got a message. So, am I the asshole for not caring, reaching out? Scared my old bully at Screamfest. So it's not great, but it felt pretty satisfying at the time, ICL. In my old high school, I was called a psycho and was known as the psychotic crazy bitch. There were a group of boys that would torment me for everything. It made my high school life feel like hell. In September, I started college, and largely forgot about the boys that tormented me. I do a performing arts course, and we had to get some work experience in this area. I went through all the workshops for Screamfest, and ended up working there for Halloween. It was an incredible experience, and I will be working there again this year. Anyway, I'd been working there for around 3 weeks, and on this particular day, I was in an attraction called Creed Farm. Part of this attraction was a maze with scarecrows, which were people dressed up, covered in straw so people wouldn't suspect them. I was a blood-covered cannibal. Due to the fake cuts and blood, you couldn't really tell it was me. I was around 3 hours in, and one of the boys that tormented me from high school was walking through my attraction with his friends. I instantly recognized him, and I was the person that would be scaring that group. I scared the life out of him like I was meant to, but that's not the satisfying bit. I called out his name. He didn't recognize me and started stuttering and asking his friends if I overheard them call him so I'd know his name. I then shouted out his last name, to which I got a very frightened reaction. Him and all his friends were very creeped out, but then he recognized me and said, "Oh, hi, Molly." My name. He then proceeded to tell his friends that we went to high school together, and he was talking about how psychotic I am and how I'm crazy. So I started laughing crazily, as my character, and started singing, "You missed the psycho. The psycho's after you." I then chased him still in my character, so I wasn't breaking any rules. I hadn't broken out my character at all through the interaction, and I chased him all through the maze. He started screaming like a little girl, and his mates were laughing at him, saying how much of a pussy he is. I chased him out the maze, and he never came back in. Shiting myself before a job interview. I was interviewing for a big biotech company. They had flown me in from out of state the day prior for a mid-level position. I packed a nice suit and stayed at a local hotel that was pretty bougie on the company's dime. Treated myself to a nice sushi dinner and had an early bedtime. I showed up to the interview about 20 minutes early to check out the building, and because I didn't have anything better to do. I was pretty nervous and anxious for the interview, and went to go use the restroom to pee. As I was relieving myself at the urinal, I felt a fart coming on, so I decided to let it out. Turns out it was not a fart. I remember the feeling of a small amount of poop coming out, the messy kind. I immediately started panicking and freaking out because my interviews were 10 minutes away. I did what any sane person would do. I quickly moved to the bathroom stall, removed my dress shoes, suit pants, and soiled briefs. Luckily for me, the shit stain did not bleed through to my dress pants. I cleaned myself up down there with toilet paper as best as I could. I proceeded to put my pants back on, sans briefs, commando style, put my shoes on, and wiped the sweat off my brow. I took the briefs and shoved them as far down the trash bin as I could, and washed my hands thoroughly. 5 minutes to go before I met with the interview team, and I managed to pull myself together and focus on what was to come. Despite my little accident, I ended up getting the job offer and moved states to work for this company. Checking no, I wasn't honest on my application for a job. Currently job hunting and found a great position that I thought would fit me well. I meet the qualifications, and there are several positions open, so I was excited and felt confident. I applied last night. Jumped to this morning when I received an email stating that I did not meet the minimum qualifications, and my application was not passed along for further consideration. Flabbergasted, I reviewed my application and found that somehow, instead of checking off yes to the question, "Are your answers truthful and honest, etc., etc.," I checked off no. I'm absolutely crushed. I've had the question before and always say yes to myself while clicking, but somehow I fucked up and clicked no. I congratulated them on their engagement. They are not engaged. Not today, but this weekend I went back to my hometown and ran into what I thought was an old friend. I saw her in a coffee shop. We went to the same high school and college, so I felt I knew her pretty well and would recognize her. I follow her on Facebook and Instagram, and I had seen she had recently gotten engaged. I even commented and said congratulations, and she responded, "Thank you." I walked right up to her and said hi, and asked her how she was doing. She looked confused, but answered, "Fine." I assumed maybe she doesn't recognize me. I did cut my hair and I've gained weight since college. And she nodded and said, "Oh yeah, great to see you." I then gestured at her hand and said, "Congratulations again on your engagement." At that point she looked incredibly angry and said, "Sorry, I don't think I know you." And I turned away, said, "Okay," and walked off. I made a point to tell my husband how rude that was. I went back Facebook and realized she was right. She was the younger sister of the girl I knew, but looked just like her. And not only is she not engaged, but her husband died roughly 6 months ago. So that probably wasn't how she wanted to start her day, and I felt like a huge asshole. Tifu by sneezing while eating beef jerky. I went to our community spring fair to buy stuff to support the local small businesses. One of the booths was selling homemade beef jerky with one made with Carolina Reapers. As a fan of spicy food, I decided to buy a pack. When I got home, I dove right in. It was so spicy that I was immediately covered in sweat and drinking milk. But it was delicious, so I kept eating it. While chewing on another piece, I felt a sneeze coming on very quickly from all the spices. With no time to grab a napkin and spit the jerky out, I took one giant inhale from the oncoming sneeze. Immediately, my lungs were on fire, and almost uncontrollable panic set in. Now I can handle the mouth pain from sousy food, but this shit is in my lungs now. It felt like straight magma flowing through the lungs. Every breath in felt like it was fanning the flame in my lungs, and every exhale was just as excruciating. I could feel every bronchiole lighting up with pain as the air moved throughout my lungs. I considered inhaling milk knowing it could kill me, but I didn't. I remembered being prescribed a medicinal inhaler for a lung infection from 10 years ago. I wasn't sure if that would help, but I was desperate to put something in my lungs to try and stop the pain. I started tearing through the medicine cabinet but couldn't find it. After about 1 hour, the pain got a little better. After 2 hours, the pain was manageable, but every breath was still unpleasant. I was able to eat the last piece of jerky by this point. It wasn't until the next morning that my lungs felt completely normal again. But that was some delicious ass jerky. Tifu by taking double the amount of blood pressure meds I usually take for the past month. I just realized this yesterday after trying to get the script refilled. I was told it was too early to refill, that I have another month of pills left. Well, how is that possible when I have 3 pills left? Sir, were you cutting the pills in half like the prescription said? What? You were prescribed a larger 10 milliliter dose, but you need to cut the pill in half. So, yeah. No one told me that when I picked it up. I've been on this script at a 5 milliliter dose for over a year, no issues. Why would I look at the label? That clearly said to split the pill. And the pills looked practically the same size. You might be wondering how I felt, like dog shit as time went by. Like, I thought I might be in some serious trouble. Heart palpitations, ankles and lower legs swelled up, fatigue, pretty decent brain fog, plus some other misc. Crap I'm still figuring out. Amlodipine is the med for anyone interested. TLDR. Op tried to accidentally kill himself, slowly, because he didn't read his prescription bottle. Trapping my husband in a Spider-Man costume again. Today, our 6YO nephew is Spider-Man obsessed, and we remembered we still had that costume, so my husband put it on to surprise him. Once again, I zipped him, and he even reminded me I'd need to let him out after. My sister came to our house with her kids, and the plan was that I was going out with them today, leaving husband at home. You can see where this is going. Nephew loved the surprise of meeting Spider-Man. I went outside to put some stuff in the car, and husband sat down to await unzip after the kids were gone. Of course, I forgot to go back in, and we all left. 2 hours later, I came home to find a very angry Spider-Man sitting on the couch watching football. I made him promise to forgive me before I unzipped it. My nephew is very excited to see Spider-Man again sometime, so I hope my husband trusts me to ever go in it again too. I zipped up the back of a costume for my husband, then went out and left him trapped in it. I did the exact same thing 4 years ago.